The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 Career Mode. Today we are here for the penultimate race of the season for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and the pressure is on the championship. Is a very important climax. You know, it could really, it can actually be decided today, even though I think it might go down to the last race. The pressure's on. Essentially, if you do want to see how things pan out going into this race, then do check out the last episode at Mexico to see how we got to this point, because from now on, there's going to be spoilers. So in the meantime, in the background you would have seen, we've got an upgrade on the car for this weekend. We are the third best team. Red Bull have really taken a massive step forward, and they are the best team now, and they've brought some massive upgrades. And now, spoiler alert, from what I mentioned before, going into this race, the gap between myself and Sebastian Vettel is 25 points. With 2 races to go, it's going to be very tricky, and like I said, it can be decided today. If Vettel outscores me by a point, he wins the championship. It's very simple in terms of his behalf of what he has to do, so we have to beat Vettel this race. It doesn't matter what happens, we have to finish ahead of him no matter what, so the pressure's on. And unfortunately, in the practice programs, you can see we didn't really have great pace. I just couldn't find the setup in the car, couldn't find the balance. I always struggle around this track for overall great pace, and I was a little bit concerned going into Saturday qualifying.
Great work out there today. How do you think it went? You spent a lot of time on the track during practice. Does the car have enough reliability to sustain that? It's looking like the championship is already won. Do you think there's still time for this to change? Great! Well, that's everything.
Speaking of which, you know, we're going to see what happens, because right now after practice, like I said, I was very, very in the dark about where the car be in terms of performance and whether we could do the job or not. So I wasn't really sure of what to expect. So we're going to see what happens here. Hopefully we can try and do a good performance though and try and turn it around. I made some setup changes compared to practice, and we're going to see if it pays off or not. Ultimately, you know, the race isn't won on Saturday, and there's no points awarded on Saturday. You do the job on Sunday, but even still, you can make your Sunday a lot easier by doing a good job on Saturday. So I'm just hoping we can try and do a good job and hopefully get as close as we can to Sebastian Vettel. That's the aim, and hopefully that man there, Pierre Gasly, can be a bit of a wild card and maybe try and help me out. You know, if he could out-qualify me and Vettel like he did in Singapore, that'd be great for the championship, but we'll see what happens. First of all though, in Q1 we went out on the super soft compound tyres, the fastest tyres available this weekend, and to be fair, our first lap wasn't spectacular. We go P15 on the bubble, so we have to go back out again for a second attempt on a fresh set of super softs here, and a very rare second run in Q1 now, and again reconfirming the fears that I might not have to pace around this circuit, at least in qualifying, as we now are currently about 2 tenths up going through the second sector split, and now finally across the line about 2 and a bit tenths up here, and we're going to see where this lap puts us. But P17 we jump up to second place, sorry, to P12, sorry, and it's a big improvement, and we do get through eventually in P14, so we still drop down even that. After that lap we drop down even further, so we got lucky. In Q2 though, we went out on the soft compound tyres because we used 2 super soft sets. However, I made a big mistake, got a little bit loose on the exit of the right hander there, and ultimately the lap got invalidated for extending. So it's all going to come down to this lap, and we have to really try an absolute best lap here. Straight away, turn 1, admittedly I could have broken a little bit later and also let the car roll a bit more. I broke too much and took a massive bit of curb, which really slows down the car. Turn 2 was fine, turn 3 as well, as we go into turn 4, braking just before the 50, just about get the apex there, and it's not too bad of a first sector. Ultimately I probably left about a tenth of a second on the table in that first corner, as we now go through the double apex right, as you can see here, carrying the speed through, really trying to maximise the lap time as we brake again for the first of a couple of hairpins here. Second gear action as we throw the car into the downhill left hairpin this time, really playing around with the gearing here, second and third gear to rotate the car into the apex. Again, another right hand hairpin here. This is one of my stronger parts of the track, picking up the traction down the hill through the gears, and you look for the brake point, the meter ball just on the right hand side, brake just before it. Third gear action here, and we're a second down in sector 2, which is a little bit concerning as we go up the hill now. Hot lap ERS, we now switch to overtake because I could actually use a bit of overtake ERS in this session. Open up the DRS, bear to the left for the shortest run to the line, and where is the lap going to put us? P11, I just caught a glimpse there, so unfortunately we do just miss out on a Q3 position. It was my best lap of the weekend by quite some margin, but we just couldn't put it together, and ultimately we miss out on Q3. If I probably got turn 1 right, I could have maybe done it, but and then again, P11's not too bad. We get the free choice of tyre, so it could be a blessing. Sebastian Vettel currently P2, but let's see where he starts on Sunday in the race. It's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Where there's a will, well, there's a way. And nowhere has that fact been better demonstrated over the years than here at Interlagos. Remember Senna winning while fighting a gearbox that was jammed in 6th? 5 Drivers' Championship deciders in a row between 2005 and 2009. And of course, the passionate Brazilian fans packing the grandstands to capacity every year. And they're not about to stop now. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. That gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. With that then, let's run through the grid order. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Carlos Sainz and Ocon, Gasly, Martinez, Vettel and Valtteri Bottas. Raikkonen, they've taken a grid penalty. Perez, Charles Leclerc and Alonso. Stroll, Ericsson, Stoffel Van Dorn and Kevin Magnussen. Grosjean and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right then, here we are on the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We start from 8th place on row number 4 alongside Pierre Gasly. We got promoted after qualifying 3 places, both Ferraris and Hamilton picking up penalties. And the good news is Vettel actually starts behind me in P9. So with that in mind, we've got a chance today to make something good happen. However, unlike in the last race in Mexico, we just don't have that pace. We're going to struggle for pace here today. Strategy-wise, I'm a bit caught in the middle because basically I've gone for a custom strategy of starting on the softs and then going on to 2 super soft stints. It's basically the flip reverse of the strategy below, but obviously I'll be faster with this one because at ending the race on super softs, you'll naturally be faster. The only problem is that basically I was originally suggested a soft onto the medium, but the amount of tyre wear is really, really high. I'll show you guys exactly what I mean because I'm not really sure what I want to do, as you can see on the screen right now. The medium tyre seems a decent tyre though, I've got to say. It looks like a good race tyre. The initial race pace is slow, however it's very consistent, but I'm not sure. It does worry me a little bit in terms of the performance. You know, it's only about 4 seconds faster, so do I go for it? I'm not really sure. I'm kind of on the fence. So whatever happens, I'm going to start on the soft tyre and basically take it from there. And then we'll see what happens. So I don't really care what strategy I select. We're going to just start on the soft and then we'll make a decision later to the time, depending on how the tyres in the car feels, you know, whether we ever heat the tyres. You never know. So basically we're just going to jump into it here. The target is simple, beat Vettel, and hopefully we can do that. But without further ado, let's jump into it here for the penultimate race of the season for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. Vettel P9 just behind us. Optimal rev is engaged. 5 red lights. And we are underway in Sao Paulo. Decent start actually. Today we're on the soft compound tyre, but a lot worse. Into turn 1. Very close up the inside of Gasly here. Got to leave the room to my teammate. He doesn't really leave me much room. Vettel goes around the outside. We're going to try and force him very wide. He gets the move done though. Unfortunately, Vettel getting past me early on. Here comes Bottas to the inside. Up the inside though of Vettel for the re-overtake. Late on the brakes. I'm trying to shove him onto the outside, but he's having none of it. He's coming back at me here as we go into the double right. We're going to go on the outside of Sebastian. Do we have that kind of grip? Yes, we do. We go on the outside of Vettel and up the inside of Pierre Gasly. Good move there. Aggressive start. Very good stuff. Being feisty on the soft compound tyre. Exactly what we need to do. And we're up into 7th place. Up next is Carlos Sainz. The more cars we pass early on, the better, because Vettel will have to get past Gasly, which I know he might struggle with. That Ferrari though is fast on the straight, so we'll have to see. Sainz gets a bit slow out the final corner here. He's going to be on the back foot. That's going to allow me to really close the gap on him here. Up the hill. Now we're going to engage overtake ERS and rich mix combination. We're going to opt for the inside line. There it is. Gasly picking up a double toe into turn 1, late on the brakes. I haven't got that sort of confidence that the super soft runners do at the moment, but we get the move done and we're into P6. So very good start so far, one of my better ones of the season, really being aggressive on the slower tyre. And now we've got to try and make it count. And now Gasly's going for the move on Sainz. Fair play. We lock up though. First mistake, go wide, I'm going to have to use the grass. Just got wheel on the grass on the braking. Gasly's made the move on Sainz, so now's my chance to pull away. Vettel can't get past at the moment, so let's keep the pace up. I'll say one thing, the longer this race goes and we're in this position and Vettel doesn't get past, the more I'm going to lean towards the one stop to absolutely guarantee that we beat Vettel this race. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that's for sure. There we go, personal best 109.8. I need to find some pace here to catch up to this train in front. All these cars in front of us are beatable and raceable here today, at least the next 4 cars, which are, I'm guessing, Hamilton, a Red Bull, a Ricciardo, a Renault and a Force India. We need to pass these guys. Then we'll be in a very good position. Okay, we just managed to get within knock-ons DRS here. Critical stuff. Right now we're looking very good though. No Ferraris in sight. So that is very, very good. Ferrari and Vettel are struggling to get past Sainz, who I think Vettel might just be getting past now, but he's still trying to get past him. I think he might have just got the job done, but Sainz might come back at him here. Either way, Raikkonen also nowhere to be seen, and this is really suiting us right now. Right now, myself and Pierre are the fastest guys on the track. We are catching up to this group, and the leader is a Red Bull actually, and he's not that far away. Red Bull are currently 1 and 3, so as it stands, they will re-overtake myself and Gasly in the Constructors' Championship. So Red Bull really coming alive in the second half of the season and getting the job done. I'm guessing it's Ricciardo who's in the lead, and right now we're doing a good job here with these super soft runners in front. Like I mentioned, no one's really pulling away here at the front, so the longer this race goes on, the more I'm leaning towards the one stop, because we can get the jump on these guys. A couple of battles this lap. The Red Bull of Verstappen and Ricciardo, I can't see who it is, but they've got past Hamilton for P3, and we're really close to Ocon this time. I feel like those super softs are just starting to run out a little bit now, and there you go, on cue, Ocon comes in. It looked like he was lacking a bit of grip, and indeed he was.
Pierre is in the pits.
Good timing for Pierre's pit stop as well, because Vettel was starting to catch, so hopefully that should be an interest there ahead of Sebastian. We've still got good pace here, which is good news. Tyres are just starting to let go slightly though on the rears, but we're still doing a good job here, and car still feels good. More cars in the pit lane. Hamilton comes in this time, as does the race leader. Which Red Bull is it? It's Verstappen in the lead. Okay, so it's not actually Ricciardo for a change. Hulkenberg and Ricciardo stay out. We're now up to 3rd place. Sebastian Vettel comes in also. Bottas stays out.
Some information on Verstappen. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Oh, unfortunate one for Red Bull and Verstappen there. Not ideal. Another failure in the Red Bull car. That's one thing that does concern me. If I go to Red Bull next season, I've got a feeling durability is going to be on 0. They would have done 0 reliability, so I might have to work on that straight away, because the car's already the fastest, so performance might have to wait. We might have to focus on getting that car to actually get to the finish line in one piece. Meanwhile, Hulkenberg's going to come in here. I think I've done enough to get his DRS, so that should release me. There we go. I'm guessing Ricciardo came in as well. Yes, he did. So we're going to inherit the race lead. We're going to get a nice little launch with DRS. So let's use this clean air and try and set some semi-decent lap times on these tyres now, which are getting a little bit second hand. And these laps are now important. We're going to come in around lap 14, 15 for a set of medium compound tyres. I'm committing to the one stop at this point because we've looked very good in this race and I want to have track position. I'm not seeing any fastest laps being posted, which means either 1, they've gone for mediums and the tyres aren't that good, or 2, they've got caught up in traffic whilst doing their strategy, which is what I'm saying about the one stop. If we go long, we'll avoid that traffic for a longer time and we'll be hopefully rejoining in a nice bit of clean air. Every lap's consistent. I'm exactly every single lap 9/10 off my personal best, so the longer this continues, the better it looks. Rear tyres just starting to get a bit hot on that last lap. Front and right as well. But we're coming in this lap now, lap 15. So we've done a good job. It's been a good stint. Okay, there's Ricciardo. He's only just popped up now in P3. How far behind is he in the sector split? I guess we'll find out. 17.9. That's a quite a big gap for the man that was in the lead. Right then, here we go into the pit lane. We're going to push as much as we can. Get it all slowed down. There we go. Right, perfect. Onto a set of mediums. We've done a good stint I came in one lap earlier than I thought. I thought I was meant to come in lap 16, but I came in 15 because my tyres were overheating and also my pace was consistent. I didn't want to wait until I put in a bad lap, basically. I wanted to make sure every lap was good and consistent. There goes Magnussen. Here comes Ricciardo now. It's going to be close. Not with Ricciardo, but with those behind. Have we jumped the entire queue and got ourselves into second place? Yes, we have. Look at that train of cars being held up by Grosjean there through turn 1. We're going to rejoin in front of Lewis Hamilton, and we are in second place in this race, a net second place. So the one stop paying off. Like I said, I saw no fastest laps being pumped in, so that obviously told me that everyone was in traffic, and we've done the job. We've jumped the entire queue into second place, and even though we don't have the pace around here, strategy's paid off. We took the gamble on the one stop, which I wasn't really convinced about, and the fact that they were in traffic has given me the opportunity. However, now Hamilton on super softs is going to be a threat, and he's going to be hard to keep behind because I'm on this medium tyre, but it should be okay. I think I can keep behind for now as long as I get these tyres up to temperature. There we go, Ricciardo with the fastest lap. Magnussen comes in, so right now second place, and really it's a net first because Ricciardo has to come in. So right now we are leading this race, you could say. So this is looking very good. Hamilton's got to come in as well. That's why I don't want to battle with him too hard. So if he does go for the move, I'm not going to battle him too much. We need to focus on the long one. We're pretty much just underneath half race distance, and we're doing a good job so far. Personal best, there we go. Good pace on this tyre. Vettel's the man on the move behind though, 108.9. There he is on the mini-map. He's behind that Force India, and he's making moves, to be honest with you. He's got good pace. He could become a threat later on. I hope he doesn't get past Lewis and Ricciardo. I'm kind of banking on those guys to be a buffer for me, so that way we can really overturn the points gap. Even then, I think after this race I'm going to end up regretting the penalty I got in the last race and those 7 points that I threw away, especially considering how I've surprised myself how well this race is going. Okay, Ricciardo comes in, there we go, the expected pit stop. We're now into first place, a net first place. Lewis stays out for one more, and looks like Sebastian Vettel's coming as well. This is going to be interesting now. I need Sebastian to finish as low as possible. Right, Lewis comes in, so we're now released into clean air. We're unchallenged, so now is when we manage the race. So I've done my pushing laps as Gasly comes in for a second time this race. I've done my laps where I've been running at a max pace.
Is in for his stop.
Now it's all about controlling it and taking it easy. We've got Gasly there on softs, Ocon on softs, Ricciardo on softs, Hamilton on softs. I'm guessing Vettel's now recovered that position. Magnussen's in medium, so he's going to be a wild card in the equation. That pushes Vettel down one more position, which is good news. Hopefully there's a few more of those. But all in all, now we've got a massive gap, 12 seconds to Ricciardo. To be fair, I've seen that gap come down before. He's in the fastest car on the grid in that Red Bull, but I know I'm gonna win this race. This time I'm not throwing this one away. I'll make sure of it. So it's just hoping Vettel's lost places. 108.6 from Ricciardo. That's good pace. If he keeps it up, he might catch me actually. So we can't get too complacent just yet. We need to keep pushing. It's a shame Verstappen got that car trouble because I needed him to be another car in the mix, in the equation, to disturb Vettel and push him down one more position. On the minimap, I can see Vettel there. He's been overtaken by the Force India, I think, so he's lost another place. So it's looking good so far. 10 to go. Ricciardo's really getting the gap down. 7.8. Really strong pace from the Red Bull man. He's going to catch me by the end of this race, I think, so we're going to have to do some defending. So I'm going to save up my fuel and battery if I can. Vettel's done a fast lap at 108 now, across the line right now. That's a very late pass through the line. Is he coming again, or I don't know if he's had some contact or something, but I'm preparing for a battle with Ricciardo, which I cannot lose. The 7 points this time are critical, and I cannot lose them. I'm in no risk of a penalty. I've only had the one extension this race through turn 2, so pressure's on. Gap down to 5.8 or 5.9 pretty much. I've been running hot lap the last couple of laps. I'm still using it now. I'm burning off my battery a bit, and then I'll save it back up in time for Ricciardo to arrive. But for now, I'm just trying to farm any last bit of pace that I can potentially get out of these tyres before we engage in battle. Okay, the gap's not coming down as much now. Now the gap is 4.9. It came down a second on that last lap, but that's a bit more manageable. Ricciardo might be just starting to lose a bit of an edge on those soft compound tyres now, and also maybe some engine performance as well. Only a 10th of my personal best that time. Really trying to push on with the pace. Ricciardo only got half a second on me that lap, but as we cut that corner a bit, second cut there. If I get one more on for a penalty, this history will be going to repeat itself. Hope not. Right then, that was the last of my laps, I think. I'm now going to try and max out the battery. I'm going to leave it in medium, and hopefully I can save up the battery to the max before Ricciardo arrives. 3.5 seconds, 5 whole laps to go. The pressure is on. Gap 1.4. Ricciardo's out of DRS on this lap for now. I'm only 0.3 off my personal best in the standard engine mode. That's how much I'm pushing here. Trying really hard at the minute. And I can barely talk because I'm concentrating so much through every single corner. Grosjean out of the race in the Haas. Big retirement. Hopefully it doesn't affect Vettel's position. Hopefully he was behind. Magnussen is the man that I'm concerned about. There he is on the right hand side. Tyres are struggling now. Ricciardo is on the back of me here. He's close. I'm going to force him out wide. Bit of a screen freeze. Not ideal, but we hold on to the position there. Ricciardo's first look is unsuccessful. Right then, out of the last major brake zone on the circuit. Maximum engine modes engaged. Ricciardo approaches. We go defensive. We've got to cover off the inside here. Holding the inside line, running nice and deep into the corner, and not allowing Ricciardo to hang it around the outside. And we stay ahead for now. I'm going to save engine modes because Ricciardo's not close enough for an attack. 1.5 laps to go. Once again, out the final corner. Got a much better exit this time, much better and cleaner traction. Maximum engine modes. We're about to run out of rich mix here. Ricciardo's gaining on me, but he's not close enough. Into turn 1 at least. Last lap of the Grand Prix. Let's focus on our exit here if we can, which is absolutely perfect. But Ricciardo is so close. He's had a really good exit himself. We cover the inside early on. It's all going to come down to this brake zone. We're going to hold the inside line. Force Ricciardo around the long way. No way around there. He cannot make the move, and we hold on. All we've got to do now is survive the uphill climb at the end of the lap now. Right then, final corner. Focus on our exit. There we go. Perfect. And against all odds, in a race where I did not expect this and I did not see this coming, we're going to come home to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. How have we done that? What a race. What a drive. Insane. Absolutely insane. A massive 25 points. Let's see where Sebastian Vettel finished in the race.
A great win there for the Toro Rosso team today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations, and how well deserved is this one? This is a team all about giving talented young drivers an opportunity to race and to win. Toro Rosso are your winners here today.
So looking at the final race results, we win the Brazilian Grand Prix against all odds. Something I did not see coming. Strategy perfect, and ultimately qualifying P11 really helped us out, and that was the golden ticket. If you look at the best laps though, everybody in the top 9 was faster than me except for Magnussen. So that's kind of where our pace was in this race. All in all though, Vettel got P4. I'm disappointed because he had Gasly and Hamilton right up his rear, but he managed to hold on, unfortunately for me. So that means we gained 13 points on Sebastian. However, basically, the permutation for the last race of the season is the same as this one. If we win and Vettel comes 4th, we win the championship because there's a 13-point difference. Ultimately, in hindsight now, the 7 points we lost at Mexico make this very annoying because we will only be 5 points behind, and winning the race would mean we're champions in Abu Dhabi, as simple as that. So in hindsight, I wasn't expecting to win this race. I thought, you know what, the points I threw away in Mexico weren't that important because the gap was bigger than I thought. Now looking at it, I'm hurting a bit inside, knowing that we threw away those 7 points. And we'll see what happens. One race to go. It's the battle of the 300 points. I'm going to hit 300 points. I'm going to win the race in Abu Dhabi, hopefully. That's my plan. That's my target. I need to win no matter what happens. And then rely on Vettel to finish 4th or lower. And we'll see what happens. In terms of the constructors, though, Ferrari are officially constructors champions. They've been the best team by a mile this season. They thoroughly deserve it. And in the end, with Verstappen's issues, we actually extend our lead in 3rd place over Red Bull. So it was looking really bad at first with Red Bull 1-3 and myself and Gasly 6th and 7th. But luckily in the end, we managed to pull through. And I think we should be okay to bring that one home now in Abu Dhabi for 3rd place in the constructors. But all in all, a very enjoyable race there at Brazil, guys. One that shocked me. Completely did not expect to win that race. And we go again in Abu Dhabi for one last time in the Toro Rosso car. But until then, let's jump into the laptop.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. How are you feeling after that win? Things are looking up after last week, aren't they? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? Great! Well, that's everything.
Okay then, so here we are on the R&D tree, and we have 1,352 points to spend, and I think we have just enough to buy a minor upgrade in time for the last race. And we're going to go for engine power, no fuel consumption, nothing like that, just raw engine power. We're going to max out the minors, and worst ways, if one upgrade fails, which is the major one we have for the chassis here, then we can have a decent engine one. By the way, now we are the top team in the chassis department, and this upgrade is only going to push us even further. But as you can see in the bottom there, we're looking very strong. With these 2 upgrades, we might actually overtake Red Bull as the best team, potentially, but we'll have to wait and see. Finally, where's one last look at the R&D tree? You can see Red Bull, the leaders, Haas and Renault closing in, and McLaren are now the slowest team on the grid. So interesting developments here. One more race to go. The battle for the championship is indeed on. 12 points between myself and Sebastian Vettel, and I'm looking forward to it. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, leave a like. Also, do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content. Turn on notifications to not miss a single upload from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching on this episode, and I'll see you in the next one for the finale very soon. Goodbye.